Hello everyone, it's Scott and welcome back to another episode of Sky Factory 2. I figure I actually had to stop because I just kept building and building and building, and I wasn't taking time to actually record an episode because I have a lot of irons in the fire per se. I have really a lot of yellowite in the fire, so I'm making up a pretty big batch, and one thing I want to show is this new Emmy interface terminal. So I didn't realize that the Applied Energistics gives you a interface to access all of the other interfaces from a single terminal. So here it's actually one of the first things you can make. Emmy interface terminal, very simple engineering processor, but you know, with the panels and just the normal interface, I can remotely place in patterns into anything connected to a molecular assembler, and so it makes it really easy just to drop in a pattern into any blank spot without having to walk over and find the one machine that's available. And so I think that was a really cool discovery, and it's actually been saving me a lot of time. And one of the other things I did was I made some patterns for machine frames. So now I can work myself all the way up to a machine frame resonant, which allows me to make a whole bunch of devices almost instantly. And one of the things I wanted to do was set up a pulverizer channel. I'll get to this in a second. A pulverizer channel over here, which will allow me to basically start sifting through all of these ores that are collecting in the Emmy system. So over here, you may notice I've kind of extended the reactor. Bump. And I'm really just a couple blocks away from closing it off. So we know that this is the reactor that's actually powering all of our ender quarries. I built quite a number of more of capacitors here, and let me try to move these over and see if this will work for me. I was hoping it had a pretty interface, but I guess not. So with all these vibrant capacitor banks, I can now store 450 million RF power, or at least I would if I weren't running at a net deficit and actually storing none. So what I would like to do is finish the build here and wire up the rest of the reactor casing. So as soon as I place a block, it's going to detonate the old reactor casing, the old reactor, and let me figure out how I can get in here. Whoops, let's get out. Alright, I seem to be trapped. Alright, so let's get working on converting the reactor casing. So, a little tricky here. I'm just going to break the block so I can actually get in here a little easier. And so these are the last pieces I have to put in that will pretty much complete the multi-block and make it a 46 block tall reactor. So let's knock these out. I kind of want to, well, you know what, it doesn't really matter how long I take because this isn't really doing anything. So let's break the glass and gather up these pieces. Now the liquid cryothium, I had filled up for this original 7x7x7 reactor, and that's been working pretty good for me. But if I'm going to extend this, then yeah, I'm going to probably need to make quite a lot of liquid cryothium, or I could just admit that it's really not worth doing, and there we go. So unfortunately the liquid cryothium is also creating this snow pattern here. Pretty much it'll deposit snow on any nearby flat surfaces. I don't know how fast it's actually depositing the snow, but great. This is hooking up just nicely. Okay, that's together. Let's drop in some casings. And that should seal off and connect the two devices. Great. And this should close it in, which only leaves the top So here, let's put the fuel rods back in, and hopefully that should complete the multi-block, and this should power right up. 3, 2, 1, go. Nice. Alright, so with that, I now have a 7x7x46 tall reactor, and let's power it up. Nice. So we're actually running almost, we only have 1/3 the amount of fuel that we really need. So let's check in on the yellowite here. Okay, I have quite a number of stacks built up. Let's build up a couple more. Again, the Emmy system is just saving so much time in crafting these things. Oh dear. Oh dear. So that was 300. So it looks like this one reactor can produce 860,000. That is just amazing. And am I even wired up correctly? Yes. I still wonder if this is actually oh, that's the storage here. It's actually producing 21,000. Is that right? I guess so. I guess I should explain over here the reactor red net ports. So these are special blocks that come in that can regulate various aspects of the big reactor. That was kind of weird. Why is that? Yeah, I'm not going to worry about that. So what I've done is I basically associated a channel such that to change the control rod insertion as a function of the battery, which is the energy amount. So apparently linking them together like this puts the reactor in like an auto dampening mode, which will close off the control rods. So you can see the control rods are actually running at a 77% insertion because it's attempting to match the amount of energy demand that's coming off to feed our ender quarries. So it could actually produce a whole lot more than 20,000, I believe. I think that's why the energy buffer is still filling up. But because of the automatic dampening, it's trying to minimize the amount of fuel burn here to best match the energy needs of the system. So let's grab the yellowite. So I think it's still, still putting that together, but I'll grab what I can out of here, head back downstairs. Yep, I'm going to need a little bit more. We've almost filled the core fuel, and I think once we do that, once we fill up our energy buffer, then we will begin storing energy to the capacitor bank. So with this much energy production, we're going to have to think of something new that we can do to burn this fuel. Alright everyone, here I am out in the middle of the void in the end. And if you've seen other Sky Factory series, you could probably guess what's about to happen. So I am out at coordinates 9,500 and approximately 0, and I am at the outskirts of the Chaos Dragon. So in Draconic Evolution, there is a special mob that spawns called the Chaos Dragon that will essentially be like it looks like an Ender Dragon, but it actually one-shots your character anytime you try to even get close to it. But that's not what I want to do today. What I really want to do is set up an Ender Quarry to mine this area, because the area around the Chaos Dragon is actually filled with Ender blocks and Draconic ore. And so I want to make sure that I capture that as much as I can without getting close enough to the Chaos Dragon so that he just I'm in have no desire to be instantly killed. So I'm trying to pick a spot here that's reasonably close to the outer ring. I don't want to get close enough that I trigger the crystals to spawn the dragon. So I'm just going to pick a set of coordinates and place ender markers, just like I did in the deep dark. And these ender markers will then connect and give me the ability to mine. So I think here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do a offset of 300 by 300 away from the x 10,000 point. And so using the ender marker, I'm going to position myself at 251. Let's say would be a good spot. I have to remember I have to line everything up. 99. One more block. So right here at 97, here's our 300 by 300 offset. So what I'm going to do is place down the, okay, good. Here's my ender pouch with all my material. So I'm going to place down an ender marker here, and the ender marker is going to be my anchor point for the ender quarry. So let's place that down too. And I also brought along a silk touch, a tesseract and a quarry, and each of these pieces is going to then set us up for mining. So I'm a little apprehensive, unfortunately. Let's set up the Ender Quarry. I want to make sure that it has a hookup to an Ender chest. I want to make sure it has a tesseract hookup, and the tesseract is going to be set to the deep dark Ender Quarry channel. I'm going to make sure that it's set to receive power, and so right now it's beginning to charge up. Great. So I'm going to place the Silk Touch here off to the side, and I just realized that I had forgotten a speed upgrade, but you know what? I think I'll survive. By the time I'm ready to return with Draconic armor, I think I'll be in a good spot to do some upgrades here. But for now, I should be okay. So I'm going to move around to 10,300 by 300 next. Alright, coming in. So we're coming in on the correct position for marker number 2. So we are off to the southeast. Let's drop down a angel block. Whoops. It's not quite what I expected, but okay. Okay, so here at 10:30 I'm a little bit off. Let's make sure I have my stone. I need to be 1 down, and I think, yep, 1 over. Okay, great. So here, let's gather everything up. And the ender marker should go down here. And we see that it's made a connection with the other ender marker, just as I expected. Alright, let's fly off to 10,300 by -300. Okay, here we are at 10,300 by 300. Alright, let's place the block. And with another marker, we made a connection. Great. So that leaves one more marker at 9,700 by -300. Alright, here we are coming up at 9,700. So I think we're almost there. Let's get our bearings. So we need to get back to -300. And that should be around right about here. So let's place our angel block and move into position. So I think it's actually 1 block over. 9,700 minus 300. Then let's place the marker, and we now see we have 2 connections here that are linking us up, that's showing that we've actually created the square. So let's head back down to north-south. Let's head back down to 9700 by positive 300. Alright, here we are back at our Ender Quarry. So, we now see that it has two connections, so it completes the square. So let's just activate it and see what happens. Alright, successfully established boundary. And it's now scanning. Wonderful. So, I fully expect that it's not going to find anything for quite a while. If anything, I need to come back and put in a speed upgrade. It's now really trivial for me to make size 3 speed upgrades, and the only problem is I need to see how much power this is absorbing to when I get back to the overworld. I can look at the machine and see how it's operating. So let's start the long trek back. Alright, so here we are back in the overworld. So the reason I gave that Chaos Dragon such a wide berth is that basically once it sees you, it locks on and one-shots you. I had a little bit of a problem. I actually got there and died and ended up having to recover my inventory. It was just a big mess, and so I figured that this was the most legitimate way to keep a. I found that keeping that distance. I think it if you have a 200 block radius of the crystals, then I think that's what triggered it. And so keeping this wide margin is going to be safe. So, right. So the next thing I wanted to do was head down to the lower level and take a look at the energy consumption. So here we have the well, it's still measuring just 20,000. So I think I must have a problem. But this actually filled up, so that's pretty cool. So I think the problem is that I'm probably hitting the same issue as I was with the turbine, that the energy conduit is actually the limiting factor that determines how much energy can come out of the device. That it could produce more than 20,000 a tick. And I think that's why. Well, actually, this is leveled off at 10,000 per tick. Oh, because it's actually additive to what's going on over here. So when I tune the turbine to be at 1800 megawatt RPM, it's actually producing 19,000 alone right here. So combined, I'm getting 30,000 RF, and so I think once I put an additional speed upgrade on that on the Ender Quarry in the end, that's going to create the draw that's going to bump this up. So now meanwhile, the deep storage unit has been running for quite a while. So let's take a check. Oh my gosh, we're actually at 58 million cobble. Wow. Okay, so I think that meets that's going to meet our needs. So let's hook up. Let's grab this deep storage unit and replace the other guy, so that way I can bring the cobble upstairs. So let's just swap this out and drop this one in, and this one's going to start over, Looks like about 2,000 to 3,000 cobble per second. And this one in my hand is going to be the full unit. So let's head back up and let's find a open socket here and drop it in. So this is one of these, I think, is still open. Let's say the limestones and granites. Did I actually fill? I guess I did fill all these up. All right, so let's make a quick hookup here using our cable, and we'll need a storage bus to access it. So let's just throw it in here on the end and drop it right here. And a storage unit, storage bus. Let's grab a bit of cobble and put the bus on the cable, and that should link up shortly. Alright, we need to put the cable, the cobble in here, and that should power it up. Okay, so it's not turning dark. I don't quite know why. Let's see, correct tool, glass, device missing channel. Well, I've hooked it up right here. That's kind of odd. The oh, maybe it can't actually. No, I've hooked it off that before. Alright, let's head down. Oh my, I already have 32 out of 32 channels. That's why. Okay, I just had to look upstream. So let's move it. Let's just move the whole darn thing over here. Do I have available channels? I have 18 available channels right here. So let's just throw it in. Great, now I don't know which one it was. Throw it in here and drop in a cable with a storage bus, and I'll just move it shortly. Oh, I cannot hook up red to... Right, so let's look at the red cable with 24 channels. We'll find the deep storage unit that has all of our cobble. We'll throw it down right here. And with a red cable and a storage bus, that should now find a channel. And we will then link it up to the system by placing in a piece of cobble. And with that, let's take a look at how much cobble is now accessible. We have a total of 60 million cobble accessible by our Emmy system. Wonderful. So as I said before, what we need to do is make 65,000 triple compressed cobblestone. So that's 16 by 16 by 256. And to do that, we're going to need a couple of recipes. So let's start out. So first, we're going to need the base compressed cobblestone recipe. That's going to allow us to produce 9 compressed cobblestone automatically. Let's do that. So with the compressed cobblestone, you can now make a double compressed cobblestone. Make sure we do this in the pattern building one. So compressed becomes double compressed, and that pattern will get thrown into the Emmy system. And I'm going to make sure I don't put it on the same interface. Now I do have to make sure that I'm not sure which device. Let me throw it up here with the. I'm going to make sure they're not sharing the same molecular assembler, or else it's just going to bottleneck. So let's make sure. Let's produce 9 double compressed cobblestone. This is a little bit more pokey, so let's double check. Okay, let's look at some acceleration cards. Which means we're going to need to make some fluix crystals. So with 4 of those, I think I just need to upgrade the top guy here. Yes. And I actually could upgrade with 5. Oh well. And so with that, I should now have the 9 double compressed cobblestone. And if I could click correctly, that means I can now create a pattern for a triple compressed cobblestone. I'm going to throw that in to our molecular assembler also. So let's just shift some things around. Let's say, let's just move these down and move this guy up here. I don't know if that's actually sharing or not, but let's see. Let's just make one more acceleration card and see how fast we can get this to work. So in order to make the triple compressed cobble, let's switch to craftable items. Let's make, a couple, oh dear. So this is not going to work. I'm going to need to come up with, let's see, what's the most I can make in a batch? No. I need to get that under 64,000, or I need to look at I need to look at a much larger crafting storage unit. So this is just going to chug along. So one thing about crafting is that the co-processing units appear to control the number of parallel jobs that are going on, but it's the crafting storage unit that determines the total bytes that can be used. So my biggest unit right now is the 64K crafting storage, and I don't think, let's take a look. Yeah, unfortunately that appears to be the largest of the devices, and I'm not sure if I can put multiple of these in parallel. I guess there's only one way to try, because either that, or I'm going to have to look at an alternative to using the Emmy system to actually craft this. Though it is blazing along pretty well. I think this just might be something I need to set up and sort of set and forget that it's going to so, but to do such a small batch though, it's going to be doing this all day. So I'm going to have to think of another solution here than using the Emmy system to do all the crafting. So let me take a quick cut and see what I can figure out. Alright, I think I found the solution, but it's not pretty. So in order to make the triple compressed cobblestone, I can now make larger batches than 64K because I added a second 64K and 2 more coprocessing units, and it looks like the only way this will work is when the blocks are set up in a rectangular form. So if any of them are not in alignment, you can see that it disables the crafting unit. And so 2 64Ks become a 128, and I think I'm going to need to reposition this somewhere where I can expand it, but unfortunately I don't. It just seems infeasible that the if I have to build triple compressed cobble 64K stacks at a time. So I think what I'm going to do is go back to the tried and true method of using the packagers. It's called the auto. What did I do with those? Yeah, the auto packager. Oh, because I still have it on craftable only mode. So I'm going to grab a bunch of the auto packagers. I'm going to grab some intermediate chests and make sure that I have some conduit, so that way I can hook everything up. And let's see, where do we want to put this? Alright, I'm back, and this is another variation on the theme of using auto packagers in a plus sign configuration to parallel process. So what I have here is the 50 million cobble in the center, which is being drawn by 4 auto packagers, which are hooked up to my RF network. So each of these is producing compressed cobblestone out of the raw cobblestone deep storage unit, and then the servos are piping them chest after chest into a return path into this chest, which is then read by this auto packager here to produce the next level up of compress. So single compress runs through, then single compress becomes double compressed, which runs through, and then double compressed becomes triple compressed, which I'm then blocking with a blacklist function within the servo itself. And so the triple compressed cobble will then just collect here on the right, and I guess what remains to be seen is this actually faster than using the Emmy system? If I do it right, I think I could probably hook I might be able to work both of them at the same time. If I put a storage bus on the deep storage unit from underneath, yes, then I can run both of the crafting, and then and that should get me done in half the time. So with that, I think I'm going to call this an episode. I've kind of been all over the place, but I want to thank you for watching, and if you could, leave a like or a comment and let me know what I'm doing or what you would like to see next in the series, and I will see you next time on Sky Factory 2. Bye.